This video, Zoning 201, Accessory Dwelling Units, is one of a series of 6 by Tiny House Atlanta that demonstrates some tools and methods you can use to research existing local zoning codes to discover where tiny houses are allowed under current ordinances. This video is based on 2 assumptions. One, that you are researching where you can build a tiny house as an accessory dwelling on the same lot as a principal house, or perhaps carve out a dwelling space within a main house. And 2, that you are familiar with the concepts found in our earlier videos, Zoning 201 Prologue and Zoning 201 First Steps. You can find these on this YouTube channel or at tinyhouseatlanta.com, which is where we are now. The purpose of this video is to show you how to discover if a jurisdiction will allow a small square foot tiny home to be built as a separate structure that will be an accessory dwelling unit, an ADU, to a primary house on a single lot. The information discovered will, in most cases, also apply to a separate dwelling space within a primary residence. In this video, we are searching the zoning ordinance of Marietta, Georgia, which I have already open. If you have viewed our earlier videos, you have the tools necessary to get to this page and to get to the zoning ordinance for pretty much any jurisdiction. So we are interested, if we're looking for accessory dwelling units, they'll probably be within the single family residential, just these 4. If we go to the residential attached, that's really multifamily, duplex, townhomes, things like that. It is interesting to see they've got a mobile home park, perhaps useful for tiny houses on wheels, perhaps, or maybe even, and then down here, here's this planned residential development. Maybe that could be used for a tiny home community. But we want to look up at these 4. Although, while I'm on this page, I want to find definitions. You never are quite sure how the writers of these ordinances define certain terms. And typically definitions comes right in the beginning, but I don't see it here. I think if we scroll down and look around, down and around. Oh good, there's definitions. Good, I know it's here, and it could be useful in the future. So, okay, I want to look within these 4. And actually the way Marietta has this listed is kind of odd. I think it's one reason I chose Marietta, because you don't often see the whole zoning ordinance laid out in individual PDFs the way this is. So often if you want to search a zoning ordinance for something, and we're going to have to use our creativity to figure out how might the writers of the ordinances for the city of Marietta chosen to describe accessory dwelling units. Do they use the term accessory dwelling units? Do they use some other term? We've really got to kind of look around. So instead of just clicking on these one at a time, I'm going to find the whole code that's all together in one unit. And the easiest way to do that is to go to municode.com. That's municode.com. And I've got that ready to pick up. This is the opening page for Municode. You go to the library, and we're in Georgia. So we go to Georgia, and we're looking for Marietta. And what opens are all the ordinances, not just the zoning, all the ordinances, public safety, finance, personnel, everything that governs the city of Marietta. And we are looking for, and there it is, Part 7, under Planning and Development, is the zoning ordinance. If we click on this, we get to the zoning ordinance all together in one document. So if we go to the search here and try to guess at terms that might describe our ADUs in here, we can try ADU, but I don't think I think that will come up. Perhaps we can find how the city of Marietta refers to accessory dwelling units in their ordinance. Since we're talking about accessory dwelling units, I'm going to try accessory. I think I got that right. And in the search, what it does is it does search the totality of the city of Marietta's ordinances, not just the zoning code. And so it's giving us 48 returns. So what we want to do here is we want to limit it. So let's get rid of personnel. Let's get rid of the Board of Lights and Water. I think we are under planning and development, so we're going to keep that. Zoning, of course. Nope, motor vehicles, get out of here. Disposition of ordinances. Well, at least that limited it. We knocked out 4. And then here you just scroll through and go, maybe is this kind of, I think maybe, huh? I'm not going to do that now because it takes time. And actually, I didn't find anything that was useful under accessory. I tried, you can also try dwelling. I actually went, well, maybe they call them guest houses. Actually, I know they do. And I'm just put in, I actually put in guest house, which is not the way. Let's put parentheses around the whole thing, although that doesn't always work. Search for it. And, ooh, gave me 94 results. That's not good. But again, we can get rid of, we can narrow it down, get rid of the things where it's not going to be a part of what we're looking for. Because, I'm put guest house, but it's taking housing and guest rooms, and we limited it, although still we have 51 to go through. And that's one way to do it, although, man, 51 to look at is not such a great way to do it. Another way to go about it would have been to look at each one of these individual zoning districts. I just clicked on the R1 single family residential agriculture. Maybe sometimes a larger unit they're freer about what they'll allow. And with this open, best you can do is just scroll and go, okay, permitted uses. I want to see something permitted that I can not build a golf course or conditional uses. Oh, what's this? No, sawmill. I'm not doing a sawmill. Allowed by, oh, wait a minute. Guest homes and servant quarters provided, all right, provided no paying guests or tenants are housed. Well, I think most people, when they think of an ADU, they want to be able to rent it out or live in it and rent out the main structure. So I think we can say the city of Marietta would not allow ADUs. And we can go back and click on the R2, R3, R4 just to confirm. But I think we found that ADUs are not allowed in Marietta. So that's the method you can use. You just have to use your imagination and search around. That finishes the scope of this tutorial. Although I do want to note the value of staying alert for extra information. We did see this, maybe we can use the mobile home park, maybe, or the planned residential development, perhaps in a further search if we change our focus, since we found we can't do an ADU. The definitions might be useful. But the whole point is just to keep your eyes open as you're searching and be creative in what you're looking for. Thank you for watching this tutorial.